welcome back to Work in Progress with Nicole Engelmann, where I have honest chats with other small business owners. This is my conversation, the second part of it, with AJ Sylvester from Lolli Socials. And now we're talking more about social media and kind of practical tips and advice around it. So let's get started, AJ. One of the things that we kind of talked about is that people always ask a lot about content, how many times they should post and stuff like that. So what would you tell listeners is the best way to go about it?
There's so much I can say. Be prepared. So basically, what I get asked a lot about is whether there's a good time to post and about the content creation side of things. I'm a true believer that every single page doesn't follow the same fit. So you have to see how your page works, what performs best, and then use that to your advantage. So is a post doing better in the evenings? Is a post doing better in the morning? And also keeping in mind your own personal schedule, because you don't want to rush it and you want intent behind the post. So just ask yourself, is this something that you would like? Is it something that will keep your attention? And keep the attention within the first 3 seconds, because otherwise people are just going to scroll by. The amount of content they're taking in, it needs to keep their attention within the first 3 seconds. Otherwise, you've lost them straight away.
And what makes a good post? Yeah, what makes a good post?
I would say quality and making sure that something is interesting within your subject. If you're going to keep it the same thing over and over again, it doesn't always work. It's got to be relevant.
Yeah, I think one of the things is that what we discussed before as well, is that some people just post for the sake of posting, like, oh, I have to post something now, so it's gonna be a quote or, a random stock photo image, and it doesn't actually say anything. There's no intent behind it.
Yeah, people. I feel like you've got a community base. Those people who follow you will know whether if your intention was to just post or whether there was an actual reason behind posting it. And the people within your community on your socials will not like that post unless you have actually put thought into it. So preparing beforehand, and I would keep it within a 2 week of preparation, because things do change, like personal circumstances and stuff. And you need space to make sure that things will work within trending items, whether the trends would fit your business, upcoming events.
Yeah, because I think sometimes people just follow a trend for the sake of it, and it doesn't actually relate anything to their business, or it doesn't make sense. For example, I hate doing a trend when it's actually trending. I often do something that was like 3 months past, and then I do it my own way. From my point of view as well, it's like this trend. I'm seeing this every day, 3 times. I'm getting sick of it. I do love it for myself, like doing it, but I'm not doing it now because it would just get missed in a sea of the same.
Yeah, but I still wouldn't do it when it's too late. So lottery wise, I would probably do it within the 2 week space of you having witnessed it over and over again on your algorithm. Um, but as long as it works for your business and you can make it interesting to your business, it is worth hopping on, because that way it will reach a wider audience.
Like, I mean, to be fair, even when I've done something like 3 months later, it still worked. Because
Yeah,
sometimes it's people forget about it, or maybe they haven't even seen that trend. Because sometimes we're in our own algorithm, right? So you have,
exactly.
I get a lot of content creators and like people that give advice on create content that others might not get in their feed.
Yeah.
Um, so I remember like seeing a lot of, I think it was more cafes and stuff like that, where they kind of kidnapped their
Oh,
customer, like they chloroformed them and put them
yeah.
on and like charged them. And I literally did this with a friend. So she was visiting, it's like, I need you. So we pretended she walks past me where I have the camera in my hand, and I just chloroformed her, sat her down on steps, took some fake photos, and kind of charged her. A lot of people really love that, and they haven't seen that before. So sometimes it's, yeah, not everything that's trending is seen by everyone either.
And then TikTok's usually ahead of the game in regards to trends, so you can often use it to your advantage, know what's happening on TikTok, and then use it on Instagram down the line. So yeah, yeah, my personal favorite and the one I admittedly am addicted to is TikTok, purely because the reach is so much higher in comparison to Instagram. And I love Instagram, being a photographer, because the quality for me is key over anything else. But TikTok, you can get away with a lot more, whether you haven't put makeup on, or you are still in your jammies, or just are having one of those days where you just need a vent, a short clip, and it doesn't have to be as professional in comparison to Instagram. So it really helps. And with TikTok, I get way better reach for certain clients over Instagram. And yeah, TikTok is just my fave. And personally, I've had one video, even though it had nothing to do with my business on TikTok, go viral, and that was pretty cool, to be fair.
And there was nothing to do with your business at all.
No, nothing to do with business. My one of my favorite things to do is go to gigs, and I went to a Green Day gig, and I posted at the perfect time. So timing when it, I don't think timing when it comes to like 7 p.m. when everyone's on their phone is a real thing. I personally think that timing is relevant when it comes to what you're actually posting as being relevant. So I was at a Green Day gig. It was about to start, and I posted about how I purchased the worst seats, and that went viral. I had people say, "Well, you should have booked your tickets earlier." And what they didn't know is that I actually attempted to get Glastonbury tickets before I got the Green Day tickets. But hey, I didn't say anything like that. But because I used a decent hook and then I posted at the right time, those were the key things that made that video go viral. So whether it was related to my business or not, TikTok helped my page get a little bit boosted by those two key elements.
Yeah, that's great. It's like sometimes you get one post that just outperforms everything else, and you're like, oh my God, I never had that many views or something. I think the most I've ever had was like 9 or 10,000 for I think a 5 second reel or something like that. But again, it was a trend, and I just did it at the right time. Again, not at 7 p.m., but at the right moment, I guess.
I've got another video on TikTok that again has nothing to do with my business, but the elements of it I will now use for future posts because it's proven that it's done well. Is I went to Paris on a hen do and we found this area where it was like a fully graffitied underground unused railway. So the railway didn't work, but people were under there filming music videos. It's pretty cool. And there was a little cafe, nothing I'd ever seen before, and I just filmed it with a friend. I posted about it, but I did a voiceover, just an interactive like, oh, this we found this, blah blah, blah. And I personally had found it because of TikTok, but we stumbled across it without intention, so I used that as well. And I've had over 200 saves on that video, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for me, I was like, that's pretty cool.
That's
But
quite a
it's
lot,
still
yeah.
bringing people, and that was last year. It's still bringing people to the page, which is useful. So
Yeah.
an informative post, but making it interesting does help as well.
So do you recommend having like a full-blown strategy, or how would you recommend people to go at their socials?
I think I'm going to have a controversial opinion on this. So strategy is useful, but it's not always realistic. So I would have a 2 week idea of what you're doing and have everything matched to it, like captions, but also be willing to move things around and fit to what is relevant at the time, or relevant that you know that will maybe get hits, like the Green Day video that I put up or whatnot. Recently, I did for a client. I had it all planned, and then I realised we had this very famous train in Somerset. So recently, I did this for my client. We had the Flying Scotsman down on the West Somerset Railway, and I know for a fact from previous experience that trains get big hits in our area. And so I was like, we need to move this post because this one's going to do so much better. I'm going to go down and film it. Made a day of it, put it up, and we got more hits than we had for a little while, which was great because from experience, I knew that that one was going to be better than what we originally had. So yeah, just be willing to move things around a little bit.
That's a good point to actually touch on. You said like from experience you know what works. Do you like look at your statistics a lot or at your client statistics a lot, or do you just remember, oh, this one went really well this time around, or trains are a big thing, you just know that in the area? How do
Now,
you
I
go
think
about that?
statistics help, but to be solely focused on that, you're gonna be kicking yourself if something randomly doesn't work. So social media is a bit of a lottery when it comes to you got to post, make sure it's worthy of posting. If it works, and potentially use that for the future.
I think a lot of people are also, they're chasing the viral going viral thing. Yeah, what's your thought on that?
No, because I might get 5 likes on a post, but I'll have a message from someone who didn't even like the post as an inquiry because of that post. So you don't need to go viral, and also everyone who views your video, if they like it, they might not be your custom. So it's not as important. It's amazing and it can be a really big high when it comes to it, but it's not the most important thing. Your community and them spreading the word with potential reach outside of your community is key because you never know who's going to see it and book you. But those 10,000 people who liked your video probably aren't going to buy your product. Not all of them.
Yeah, I went to Atomic Con in June, and
Oh,
one of the speakers was Grace Andrews, who's like the social media person for the Diary of a CEO.
oh yeah, no,
Um,
I know who.
yeah, and one of the things that really stuck with me was she said going viral is like a sugar rush. It's like a sugar high, and the normal content is the nutritious balanced meal. So you actually, the sugar rush is great, but that's not sustainable, and that's not bringing you your clients. That's just giving you a bit more reach and visibility, and maybe a future client at some point. But just because a million people see it doesn't mean you have a million inquiries.
Got one video go viral for your client, they're probably going to expect that more, but you can't always deliver that. So you got to be
Yeah.
realistic about your posting.
Yeah, it's not sustainable as well. And I think sometimes you see someone go viral and maybe you follow their account and you kind of see in their content that they're trying to chase the same thing. And that sometimes actually puts me off
Yeah,
because like, oh, you're just recreating the same thing or you're trying really hard rather than actually giving value and like,
I'm being real.
yeah, being building connections. Exactly. Yeah.
I think I'm quite honest with my stuff. Like when I posted about the eye rolls I received this week, I was honest because it made me mad. I am a human, and I want people to understand that what I do is a real job. And I actually got a few messages and comments on TikTok just saying like, "Well, what were you doing?" But it builds like a comment and a connection with someone else. Um, Being real is key. And if I was intentionally going viral all the time, it wouldn't be me. And for my clients' businesses, it just wouldn't work all the time.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like sometimes just sharing something that feels odd or annoys you or stuff. Like yes, I think yesterday I posted on Threads that for the first time last week a stranger recognized me. I mean, it was at a networking event, but it's like, Nicole, are you a branding photographer? I said, yes. Oh, I follow you on Instagram. It's like, okay. And I felt really weird. Like it's just an odd experience. It was lovely, but it's also like, mm, I'm not sure how I feel about this. Yeah, and I just posted on Threads about it, and I got quite a few like replies that literally, oh yeah, I know what it feels like, and this is really odd, and it's like you almost feel like a celebrity, but in a weird, uncomfortable way.
I do love stuff like that. I do get that around my area a bit. Like, oh, you're the one who does the baby photos. I'm like, yeah, I am. Have I photographed you before? It's
Yeah,
like,
that's especially when you go to networking events and stuff, and it's like I recognize a face, but I'm not sure if it was through an online thing or another networking, or actually, usually I know if it's a client, but if it was a client from like 8 or 9 years ago, that doesn't always, yeah, that's not always something that I remember, but I do remember faces. So it's like, how do I know you?
Yeah, I'm really bad with names. In my baby photo shoots, I'm like, I just call them mum and dad.
It's the easiest way. That when I used to do weddings, it's the same. Like I said, mom or bride. I mean, bride and groom. I usually knew the name, but it's like, oh, sister of the bride or whatever, because you can't remember 20 names that you just met.
But I actually have a really funny thing from a wedding, and again, this can be relatable. I felt so bad. Hopefully, they don't actually listen to this. Um, Such a lovely client. I photographed their wedding. It was the best wedding ever. And I turned to one of the family members, and it was so chilled. They didn't even have like the lineup photos. It was one of those weddings that's what just made it even better. So I turned to one of the family members, and I was like, "Oh, you must be the mum." It was the sister.
Ooh.
I was like, "Oh no!" But yeah, we didn't really talk about the families because we hadn't like had the setup. But
Did you
I've
did
used
you
that.
post about it?
Yeah, I've used that as a relatable thing. Who's got a few comments because this is reality, isn't it? And people love
Yeah.
realistic stuff. Yeah.
I once got the name of a groom wrong, and it was the ex-boyfriend's name.
No, how did you do
Yeah.
that?
Well, because I knew the bride, but I didn't actually know the ex-partner. I just heard of him and stuff, and it was never a problem. Like I knew the new partner and spent time with him, and I've never used that name before. But on the day I took the wedding, I literally was a Freudian slip. It's like, oh my god.
Ah, oh god, I can imagine.
But yeah, yeah. I mean, they were really chill about it, and they knew because I've spent time with them before, and this was never a thing. Like I don't know why. Maybe because I talked to a friend the day before, and we kind of talked about it, and the name was put in my head, and then it's like boom. But yeah, all those things, right? Is there any other kind of advice or a small kind of nugget of wisdom you would share with people that people get wrong or like have a misconception about social media?
So I like to provide simple tips, and I recently did a post about being very honest because I pride myself on being honest. I often see businesses who want the help, I check their social media posts like prior to any one-to-one meetings, and a lot of them haven't posted for like a month. And personally for me, I say that you have to be realistic with when you're posting and stuff based on your life. But if you don't post consistently, it doesn't seem like your business is even happening anymore. Like potentially it could look like you've closed. So consistent posting is one of the real things that you will hear about all the time, but consistent posting is key as long as you are matching the intent and quality of the posts.
But with that, it could also be that it doesn't necessarily need to be the post all the time. It could be a story. So they're still showing they're there, right? Because I think stories they take less effort, or there could be a in the moment thing, where posts. I think the problem why people sometimes don't post consistently is because it feels like such a big hill to climb and like a big effort. Whereas like a story, you could do a small selfie or a little video of the shop or whatever.
Yeah. And if you don't have TikTok, get TikTok because you're missing out massively. Like again, like down here, we get a lot of people that go TikTok are for teenagers, and you're like, no, 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 TikTok is not for just teenagers. No, you need to be on it. I've seen like 80-year-olds on it that are getting extreme hits on their stuff and making money off it for their businesses or just for themselves. And like that's massive. Like this TikTok isn't a platform just for the younger generation anymore. It's worthy of your time and effort.
How would you recommend, let's say, a high street shop to use TikTok?
So TikTok, because it's not as professional, you can make it fun. You can hop on the trends that match your business, but you can also hop on the trends on TikTok that don't match your business. Instagram, I'd keep it business based, but TikTok, you can see something, you can just have fun with it.
And do you find that the clients that you kind of support on TikTok, do they actually get business and inquiries from it?
So I do the work for a company who sells wedding dresses, but as an outlet. They've got the proper shop, but I focus on the outlet side of things, and that provides me with the option to do more fun stuff because the branding for that side is more bold, fun, and they have had a few inquiries from TikTok, I believe. We'll get comments and messages, and yeah, and people it will reach people in the area who didn't even know about it because I Facebook's a great community page, but I believe that we're going in the other direction with Instagram and TikTok more so. Facebook is one that you still need for group base, sending your posts to group pages, but TikTok's going to get you better reach and the generations who are going to be using social media a lot more.
Yeah, and I guess especially like brides, there are a lot on TikTok as well because they're looking for inspiration and like, you got like wedding songs on there or wedding dances or all those kind of things or save the dates. I've recently seen a really lovely one where it's like it was a save the date and the bride said save and the guy turned around and the sign said me, and then she kind of elbowed him and then he dropped the sign and said, oh, save the date, and then the date. So
Little cute
it's
things like that, and like keeping it simple as well. Like you could just do the first look, tiny things like that that capture people's emotional side. Straight away, you're gonna get a like for it, and then that may take them to your page. And I've had people that comment, go, "Oh my god, is this in Somerset?" I'm like, "Yeah, it is in Somerset. Come see
yeah.
us. Message us. Let's book an appointment." One of those things. And
Yeah, and especially with those kind of things, you sometimes can. Obviously, there's lots of videos and photos coming from a wedding. So if you know the bride, or you can, they can tag you or whatever, and you can reuse those
collaboration,
videos that they, yeah, exactly. They have a funny video from their wedding where they're wearing the dress, and you can use that. So that's great.
collaborations are really helpful too. So definitely look into that.
Yeah, definitely. I've done it for my own business as well. I mean, the whole podcast thing is a collaboration as well. So,
I'll be sharing this.
yeah, exactly. To end the podcast, obviously it's called work in progress. So, is there anything that you're currently working on in your business or for your clients that you want to share?
I am. I'm working on something so exciting, and um, it's something I'm really passionate about. And I'm only posting more about it this week. I am doing. I'm doing my own local version of Ladies Mean Business. So I'm going to be bringing local ladies who I've already had quite a lot of interest all together in my studio space for a networking event. Because often we find that because we're kind of out in the sticks in a way, travel isn't always something we can do to go meet people. Even though I am intending to come to London at some point, um, but I'm going to make it happen down here because we're not as grouped together, and we need something that's going to boost all of our morales and make connections, collaborations, and potentially more work for one another's businesses. Yeah, I'm really excited about that because I'm a proper feminist. I love supporting women and trying to make it.
Yeah, no, I love that. Community is so important. This is something I feel that I've really learned in my business in the last 2 or so years as well. I think especially after COVID, when you were kind of forced to isolate and be on your own a lot in your business as well. It kind of drives it home that you can't do it alone. There's no such thing as self-made. There's always people behind you or in your journey that kind of helped you along the way.
Yeah, well, I've had so much work from fellow photographers who maybe couldn't do it and they passed on my name, and I'm thankful for that. And when it comes to networking, there's so many female led businesses in the area, and I'm like, well, why don't we just all come together and then potentially could make even better futures for one another? That's the idea. I'm making it happen.
So, thank you for joining me, AJ. It was really lovely. And I'll show, I share all your kind of details in the show notes as well. Yeah, and have a lovely day, and I'll speak to you all soon.
Yeah, and hopefully I get to meet you soon too in the future.
Yes, definitely. Let's do that.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.